For the last 10 years, volunteers at Stanford University have been monitored as they worked on computers or watched TV.
Okay, here we're getting the major spike that we're counting so that everything looks good on here. We're recording the time.
It's part of a study testing whether artificial images and sounds trigger the same emotions and physical responses as events occurring in real life.
We're collecting physiological responses of the body because we think it's hard for people often to talk about their responses to media. So we're interested in getting inside the body and looking at these natural primitive responses to different forms of media. So that's why we're going to the trouble to put electrodes on people's arms and skin and measure all these things that you've seen.
Byron Reeves is on the faculty of Stanford's Institute for Communications Research and half of the team directing the study.
We've got all kinds of content that we're trying to show people, arousing content, sex and violence, as well as daisies in fields, very calming kinds of content. And so we're looking across all that variety of pictures.
The purpose of this experiment is to learn how people use computers to learn.
Clifford Nass is Reeves' partner. Nass brings computer expertise to Reeves' background in television.
You should speak into the microphone and answer each question verbally, then click the option and then continue when you're done.
3 out of 10 American men have forgotten their anniversary at least once.
A great deal.
The purpose of this experiment is to find out 2 things. The first one is when people use voices to interact with media as opposed to text or a mouse as is traditional, does that increase their feelings of socialness with the computer? And the other purpose is to explore whether people are polite to computers. If I ask you how much you like me, you're going to say something nice, whereas if another person asks you, you could be more honest and perhaps give a range of opinions. We're testing the same thing with computers.
Not at all familiar.
Earlier tests have shown that people are indeed polite to computers, and they expect the machines to reciprocate.
People will actually change the responses they give to the computer, depending on whether the computer asks about itself or a different computer asks. And this, despite the fact that when you ask them, did you do that, everyone says, no, of course not. I would never be polite to a computer.
Another test revealed that people think computers with male voices are more scientific than female-voiced computers, which are perceived as being more sensitive. In all, Nass and Reeves have run 35 studies, leading them to conclude that the fundamental principles of human interaction apply to the media. They've detailed their findings in a book called The Media Equation.
On the one hand, people treat technologies as if they were real people, so that people will be polite to computers. People will treat computers as their teammate or not, and that'll have effects. People will treat a male voice computer differently than a female voice computer, using gender stereotypes. So across a wide range of social responses, people treat computers as real people. And on the natural side,
we think the same thing works with places as well. That not only in a computer or any piece of media do you experience other people or representations of other people, you also experience places. And in these places and with the people in those places, they express emotions. They have personalities.
Even though subjects didn't show overt signs of fear when shown scary pictures, Nass and Reeves found their brains were registering all the signs of panic. The researchers postulate that the human central nervous system hasn't evolved sufficiently to tell the difference between real life and media symbols.
we are not evolved to 20th century technologies. We're evolved to a world where when we hear a voice, it was a person. When we see something in a social role, it was a person. When something's flying towards us, it was an object. And we don't have an on-off switch in the brain that allows us to say media, not media. Hence, even though we, quote, know better, we still respond socially and naturally to these media.
But the interesting thing is that, yes, everyone knows better. If you asked people, is it okay to marry your computer, or is it really alive, or did you respond socially to this computer or this piece of media? Everyone says, of course not. That would be ridiculous. It's just a hunk of hardware or a piece of software or fluorescent light on a screen, so no one is really confused on a very thoughtful level.
The understanding that people react socially to the media is being incorporated in software design. The biggest trial thus far was Bob, a home management program published by Microsoft. Bob users could select an animated on-screen helper from a dozen such characters embodying different personalities.
Hi, how are you doing?
It was one of many products we've worked on. It was one that really tried to set up explicitly a social and natural relationship with the user. There was a character to which a user could orient. There were rooms that could navigate somewhat like physical space. So it really was a very good try.
Although it was backed by the might of Microsoft, Bob was a marketplace flop, at least compared with sales of other Microsoft products like Windows 95.
See you later.
Yet computer designers, including IBM researcher Ted Selker, give Bob credit for being innovative.
I think there's major problems with Bob, and I think the makers of it would agree, and that is that in some sense the expectations of these anthropomorphic characters by the users exceeded their ability for them to actualize that. Then that does not at all invalidate first either the effort that went into Bob, nor the research that's behind it.
Nevertheless, Selker views Nass and Reeves' research as a valuable contribution to the design field.
I totally agree with them that the emotional and social and aspects and the relationship that the person has to the computer are vital.
Microsoft says it won't be updating Bob, but the company has incorporated what it learned about on-screen agents in a new product to make personalized greeting cards. The trend toward investing software with personality is just taking off, and there are probably limits to what users will accept. For example, imagine using a desktop with an attitude, like the site's own virtual correspondent, Dev.
Hey, yeah, you've got some email, but it's the usual garbage from your Uncle Ed. Hey, listen, big spender. I've got some ideas for your tax return that'll really save you money. Just look at this spreadsheet. Unless you'd rather I called the IRS myself, if you know what I mean.
Talk about humanizing your computer. Here's a way to talk to millions of people on the World Wide Web. Joining us now is Rod McGregor. He is the chairman and founder of a company called OnLive Technologies, and he's here to give us a preview of something that's now actually on our website as well. It's called OnLive Talker. What is that, and how does it work?
Well, as its name would imply, anyone who comes to your web page or any talker-enabled web page can talk to other people who are there.
Not chat, which is me typing in and chatting with someone else. Actually talk.
Not chat by typing, but into this microphone, you merely talk and others can hear you.
Well, who would use that? I mean, does it have to be a chat room situation or can it be anything?
All websites have the common objective, which is have more people come more often and stay longer. And a great way to do that is to build a community around your website, and Talker lets you do just that.
So you've got 6 sites that are launching OnLive Talker that you call your cool sites. One of them is Epicurious. Why don't you give us a demo of how this actually works?
Sure. Well, this is Epicurious. If you're interested in dining in New York, you may come to this webpage. If we scroll down here, we'll notice that they have added a control, and we can actually see who's here. You'll notice we're here.
Your guest.
Yes.
I'm there.
And I happen to know Randy, so perhaps we can chat to him. Hi, Randy. What are we looking at here?
Hi there. Well, actually, a few of my friends and I are here gathered on this wonderful little webpage talking about one of our favorite subjects, which is food. And you can actually see who's here just by looking at our names on your talk interface. We're connected via regular internet connections, and once again, talking about yummy, yummy food.
So let's see what this looks like on our website.
Yep, here we are at your website,
Okay,
the site.
OnLive Talker, and
Now, as we can see in this new page that you've created specially for Talker, if we scroll down, that indeed,
there we are.
There are some people here too.
Oh, great. Okay. Hi there. Gail, can you hear me?
Hi, this is Gail.
Hi, Gail. I'm sitting here with your boss, Rod, and I'm wondering, what do you think of him?
Oh, well, considering he's the boss, he's the best. I've never had a better boss, a better founder of a company.
Spoken like a true employee. Okay, thanks a lot, Gail. So we can get out of that. What does this cost?
I think it's the accent.
What would this cost for me to use it, to download your software?
For consumers at home, it's absolutely free. You can come to the site or to www.onlive.com, download the client software, use it for as long as you like, talk to people all over the world, and it's completely free.
Free, free, free. And how about, what do I need to be able to run it?
If you're a website and you wish to add this, you have to buy an OnLive server, and they're very economically priced. They start in very small packages, under $1,000, and they scale all the way up to very large sites.
And how about if I'm at home, what do I need to run it on my computer at home.
At home, what you need is Windows 95, a Pentium, and of course, a microphone.
Right. Thanks so much, Rod. Anybody who wants to try this out can come to our website, the
That's right.
site.msnbc.com. We will be back right after this.